There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello, and welcome back to IGOW3. Field reporter Danny here on location in the IGOW training grounds to introduce weekly challenge number 27, the Mo Billy Gates Honeycomb Shapes. As you can see here, I have various shapes and sizes cut out of cardboard, which I think is the easiest way to create your gates for this week's challenge. Alright, now let's go back to Dan and Liz in IGOW Studios so they can break down the requirements for this week.
Thanks, field reporter Danny. I always like a good craft project for my weekly challenge. This week's featured sponsor is Mo Billy Gates. Mo Billy just joined as an IGOW3 sponsor this week. We met Billy Yu, the owner and operator of Mo Billy Gates, when we were at Multi-GPIO this year. He's a really great guy, and I had a lot of fun hanging out with him. He loves the concept of IGOW and wanted to support the cause, even though Season 3 was well underway. We said we would be happy to have him join the IGOW sponsor family. This week, Mo Billy Gates will be providing 5-piece gate sets for our top scoring pilot and 4 lucky pilots who will be chosen at random.
At Multi-GPIO, I got to fly through a bunch of the Mo Billy gates and chase some that were attached to golf carts. The gates were super bright and easy to see and looked really cool, especially out in the dark field at night. When I inevitably crashed into some of the gates, they didn't damage my Whoop at all because they're made out of foam. While I have flown tracks with them, I don't have any Mo Billy gates myself at home yet, so I'm going to throw it over to IGOW3 judge and sponsor Nick Burns. You can find the link to Nick's full review in the description below.
Hello everyone! So I bought some gates. I bought some octagon gates and I bought some other gates that I don't even know what you call them. But they're mobility gates, as the thumbnail should have said. And after practicing, gates are hard. They're much harder. I actually spent an evening practicing. I finally got everybody to bed and I turned off all the lights and I went and I was flying these around. And the footage that you're looking at right now is analog footage. So you get to see what I see in the goggles, and I do have the lights still off. I think it also brings in a different sort of enjoyment to our flying when we have these gates, and they can flash, and they can do all sorts of different colors, and they can strobe effect, and they can do all sorts of different things. They have this remote that you can use to control, so you don't have to do any sort of programming right on the gate. You can control all the different colors that it shows on the screen. You can dim them. You can increase their brightness, of course, on, off, and then you have different effects with the strobe and flash and all the things that you see down the side of the remote. You can find the gates at mobilitygates.com. You can also buy these from goodventuredrones.com. They're based out of Chicago, I believe. For our friends that are international, you kind of have to build your own, and I wasn't really interested in building my own. I've kind of made pool noodle gates, and I thought I did a bad job, and I just didn't have the time to really invest in going out and getting the pool noodles. And that's one of the reasons why I bought gates, was having that time to make your own. Can you make your own? Sure. Everything's out there on the market for you to buy. Cutting styrofoam, I think there is a skill set to that, and there's also a tool set to that. So keep that in mind if you're going to venture out and try to build your own. But I would encourage you to check out goodventuredrones.com as well as mobilitygates.com. Also, I'll put a link down below not only to those websites, but the Mobility Gates Instagram. So you can see they've got this interesting like igloo formation that they built. And you can also see kind of the iterations that the Mobility Gates have gone through. They're USB powered, so you'll need to have some sort of battery bank or some sort of plug-in wall adapter. Look forward to flying the gates a whole lot more, and I increase my enjoyment in flying inside. I can stay in the basement and do it. If you do have any comments, questions, suggestions, let me know what you think about the gates. Leave that in the section down below. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.
Great review as always, Nick. Big thank you to Billy for creating a great product for the Whoop community and for sponsoring IGOW3. Okay, now let's jump into the requirements for weekly challenge number 27, the Mo Billy Gates Honeycomb Shapes. Requirement number 0 is that your video must be no more than 90 seconds and you must follow all of the IGOW3 posting rules.
Requirement number 1 is you must find or set up a maximum of 5 total gates, 1 of each shape: square, circle, triangle, plus, and star. If you use 3 or more gates, You must have at least one gate from each size type. IGOW gate size, small gate size, and tiny gate size. The 5 gates can be set anywhere and rotated in any way as long as the plane of the opening is vertical or horizontal for trick number 14. See this diagram here and read in the description below for full details on how to make each size and shape. Note, your gates can be anything that would fit inside the designated opening. So for example, if you don't want to cut out the star shape, you can just cut out the pentagon shape that would be in the middle, or use any other existing obstacle you have that would fit inside the designated opening.
Requirement number 2 is that you must perform one run of up to 5 tricks. One performed on each gate, all in one clip with no bumps or ground taps. You cannot repeat any tricks, so you have to choose different tricks from the 15 trick options for each gate. Similar to week 20, your goal will be to put together a clip that scores as many points as possible using predetermined point values, which can be found on the week number 27 spreadsheet. The link is in the description below. Note, if you fail a trick but do not bump anything or hit the ground, then you are allowed to continue your run without penalty and reattempt the trick. Try a different trick or move on to the next gate and come back later.
Requirement number 3 is that you must list the shape and size of the gate you are using, as well as the number and point value of the trick that you are attempting on screen for each of the up to 5 tricks in your run. You must also include your total score on screen at some point. If for some reason you cannot edit your video to have text on the screen, then all this information must be in the video description in order.
Now for the IGOW Squid Game part of the challenge. This week, your team's score will be the sum total of the top 4 pilots on your team. The first place team will not receive any letters. The second place team's lowest scoring pilot will receive a letter. The third place team's 2 lowest scoring players will both receive letters. The fourth place's team will have their 3 lowest players receive a letter, and the 5th place team will have their 4 lowest scoring players receive a letter. Any players that whoop out before the challenge will not be considered a member of the team. Any player that does not submit a video is automatically receives a letter, but still counts as a member of the team. If a team does not have at least 4 players who submit scores, then any extra spots will be filled with the mean score of all submitted videos.
That breakdown means that as long as you score the most points on your team, then you are guaranteed to be safe for the week. So, to get a high scoring run on this week's challenge, you probably will need to take some time to plan out your run and create your gates, so don't wait until the last minute to get started. Alright pilots, good luck and happy whooping!